Mic check, 1, 2. Am I coming through loud and clear now? There you are. Thank you. Okay. Why? I don't know why every time I restart, I'm gonna get my stream fixed. I need to use OBS instead of Streamlabs because this shit, every single time I restart it, it shuts off whatever mic I had and it won't reconnect to the mic that I have. I don't know why. Anyway, here I am. Welcome. Sorry about that. What is up? Thank you for being here. Hello. Busy with the kids again. I'm going to catch up. Hope everyone has a great day. You as well. I know you're already gone probably, but anywho, I still need to straighten out my streaming setup. I haven't had time. I've been working on other stuff. I'm a busy guy. Anywho. New project in here so we can do some drawing. Faces. What's the marker? Keep it loose today. Let me pull. What do we think for faces? I'll do warm-ups that are timed. And then I'll move on and maybe do Pinterest and just do poses until I feel like I've got it down. But I think I should do timed stuff just to, at the very least, warm up. Now, I don't know which sites have specifically faces. Oh, here's one. Faces and expressions. Just do all expressions, all genders, any orientation. I really hope they don't have nudity in these. Hopefully it's just the head, but sometimes people will poke their head through different bits. Had that last time. Let's do 2 minutes. Let me get this set. Can I please? There. This fairly spaced for OBS. Alright, that's about a 50-50. Hello, welcome in. How's it going? Okay. Sure, that works. Alright. So, before I start, I don't anticipate doing the Loomis method. I know that's very specific for the head shape. I don't prefer the Loomis method just because it feels too standard when it comes to the shape of the head. And so I want it to be more observational, and I'm probably not going to go super realistic. I'm not going to fully exaggerate, but I'm also not going to go for rendering. I think I'm just going for, I mean, depending on how wacky these poses get, because it is going to be like expressions. So maybe I go cartoony. I've only got 2 minutes for each pose. So we're just going to run with it. I'm trying to think of the goal I have in mind when it comes to, like, what is it that I need to fix? Because I'm not bad with expressions. I'm bad with realism, but I don't want to render anything. I think I'm going to work with realizing the eyes in a way that is more realistic and just see how that looks. Because I feel like I always do cartoony eyes specifically. Just trying to, you know, go in with an idea in mind as to what I want to fix. I think I want to do... I guess I'm just going to do line work to try and capture realism as best I can. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, I'm starting. Too strict on that upper lip. And it's kind of hard to do with... I thought I did 2 minutes. Is that every minute? Yeah. Every minute it'll give me a thing. It's got a little dimple on the chin. Zoom in a little more. Made that really tiny, didn't I? Eyes. Softness to the eyebrows. Hard to tell because his face is in shadow. He has a very specific plane on his face. Like the shadow here is like right on the temple. Pretty crazy. 30 seconds. I didn't give him enough space down here. Like those lines. Alright. So the way that I usually do a head, kind of similar to the Loomis method, is I do a circle for the back of the head, and then I do like a face plate that kind of goes over top, like, you know, something like that. So you can kind of tell the orientation of the face as well. Very well kempt bob. change my brush out because this is getting a little too muddled. Calculo. Now it does come down. There. Too much. There, I think maybe the hair is too long. Yeah. Something. That's not a face. Very specifically the opposite of a face. Back of the head, in fact. Got me thinking about my own goals now. Good. It's always a good idea to have what it is in mind that you're trying to accomplish when you go into a drawing, especially a study. Because it is easy enough to just do figure drawings, and that's helpful to just, be working at it. But if you don't necessarily have an idea in mind as to what you want to do, what you want to improve, then it can potentially be aimless. Not specifically harmful, but it can be an issue. Because it's a good idea to just get in your head, as you're working on art, what it is that you struggle with, what it is you need to improve, and then keep refining even that idea of improvement even further down into specifics. So like, say you struggle with figure drawing. Okay, what part of figure drawing? Hands, face, body proportions, what is it? Then you can refine even further. Fingers, fingernails, bent fingers, expressions with hands, that type of stuff. And so then you can work backwards after you've refined down and fixed the individual problem, and then you can expand outward and go, okay, so I got hands, now I need to connect that to the forearm, now I need to connect that to the upper arm, and just work your way through the body until you get each individual part done. I find that much more helpful than just an overall study all at once, because I don't think your brain can process all of that information. It's a lot of stuff to know. So, critique yourself, come up with goals, and that helps you refine your stuff even faster, in my experience. Not touch. No, not selective. I want it off. Thank you. Yeah, I need to pick a different brush. Going a little cartoony here. Still not terrible. Even get those forehead wrinkles in there. Notice my forehead wrinkles. I got a haircut yesterday, and I noticed my forehead wrinkles are very pronounced. Little bit of nothing wrong with that. Gotta figure out how to do a goatee shorthand. Let me pick a different brush. go smaller, but I like the texture. Try. Let's try ink. Nope, that's too specific. I do want some texture. Not that much. Pencil, and then I can just darken stuff where I need it. I'm not gonna actually start over with this one. But I always like to indicate the direction of the eyes because those tell a lot of the story. Back lines going. Something that I will never understand are the people who try and avoid, this is some recent trend, the people who try and avoid like smiling and like drinking from straws to try and like retain some sense of beauty in their old age. And it's like, you should have laugh lines. There's a reason everyone has them. You should have laugh lines. How embarrassing is it to be a 70-year-old woman with no laugh lines? You didn't enjoy your life. What was the point? Don't like this brush either. New brush. I'm gonna pause here. Nope, not stop. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Okay. Well, not very harsh lines. Up a little bit. Pronounced sheets. So I feel like I always somehow manage, like, the smile lines just don't come across very well with hard ink. I gotta figure out a better way to capture that. Going too slow. Fine circle. Still not looking at me. Ooh, let's try charcoal pencil. Maybe. Let's see, I barely do wrinkles, or like, sorry, my chat is silly. I'm gonna hold it over here. Barely do wrinkles or the like, but it's typically done in the coloring phase. Yeah, wrinkles to me are more fading than line, because they don't get fully dark oftentimes. It's not like a full line to draw, so it is difficult to find that medium, but I'm gonna try. My pen pencil lines look wonky if I try to capture those details. Yeah, you gotta do, I think it's just gotta be done lighter. Why did that open here? Just realized that. I gotta fix this. What's that? It's so interesting that when you scale stuff down, it just doesn't work the same way as it does when it's larger. Like it's removing parts of the brush. I don't hate their style though. Just right there. Ooh. What's that? I don't hate this brush because then I can kind of very gently indicate things, but I also can't get this detail. So that does suck. Shit. There's got to be a happy medium. I'm doing these people so dirty. Thank God they'll never know that I drew them. Don't tell them. Don't. I'm not happy with it yet. This 2-minute sketch, I created a demon. So sorry. Yeah, that's not the one. That's not the one. Not the brush for this. Well, this scales. Not at all. God damn. I'm working at 300 DPI too. I don't know why this is so lackluster. Let's do my hands brush. Ooh, my hands brush is pretty solid. Sorry, give me one sec. Give me one sec. I will be right back. Correct. That. Okay, we're gonna try this new brush. think this is going to give me a better amount of control. It gives me the lightness of a pencil and the darkness that I can then just add if I need to. How my hair looks right now. And I really don't know how to do facial hair either. How to add that detail without, you know? It's a very pronounced nose. Good nose. Because like here, there is no, unfortunately a beard is not ideal for figure drawing because you can't get the shape, you know? There's no anatomy to a beard. Just softness. And the eyes from the side view are kind of difficult as well. Something like that. This hair in there. Not terrible. Better. Why do I keep getting the back of this guy's head? I did. I got a haircut on, what was yesterday? Sunday. Hey there, welcome in. Here, I'll show you my haircut. It was way too long. It was wisping on the sides, and I like when it wisps, but only when I have my hat on, and I had to work. I did a photo shoot, and so I didn't wear my hat because it's more of a professional setting. And my hair was all over the place, and it was in my eyes, and I couldn't see down the viewfinder, and so I find that difficult to work with. And I'm very much a functional person, and so if I can't function at my highest capacity, then I get frustrated. So I get a haircut whenever it's in my eyes, and that's really my limit. And I don't want to do a man bun, personally. I just don't think I would look good with it. Alright, this is an interesting one because his faceplate is up at an angle. That's good, that's good. So I like to get the nose because that's kind of the midpoint of the face. And the eyes are variable, so I don't usually tackle them right away. Then I get the jawline to really emphasize the shape of the head. That. bulging veins right there with the scream going. Important to note that your neck changes shape when your face changes shape sometimes. I need to give him more space for his mouth, actually. Actually down here. That looks like Giga Chad. Smile line. The nose also kind of comes up when... Oh, and I didn't get the eyes. So, I need to work on my speed as well. Maybe I'll tone this down to 5 just until I get these a little more under control. But this brush is working a lot better, I will say that. Up a little bit. I also sometimes like to indicate the shape of the chin, where it's like, if it's pointy versus like a square versus like a just kind of round. Different chin shapes that are pretty... Honestly, like, it delivers a lot of character, which is interesting that the chin can do that. But like a lot of the times, if you notice in character designs, the chin tells a lot about the character, like a strong square chin versus a triangular, either cutesy or like agile face versus a rounded, usually like a more charismatic, happy character oftentimes. But that plays into character design more so than like personality. Like this person I don't assume is necessarily a nice person just because her face is a little more round, or, you know, what have you. I don't know her. She could be mean. Or she could be lovely. Yeah, this brush is working a lot better for me. Now that's a deep shadow right there that I don't even want to even a little bit try. I didn't get into the eyes, good lord. Alright. Faces have a lot more detail than hands. I will say that. So that's probably why I'm able to get hands out so much faster. Also struggle with faces more, so that's why we're here. We're gonna get better at it together. God, it's warm in here. I always like drawing the lips because the shapes of the lips are really good and pretty expressive as well. Pouty lips. However, I got the chin all wrong. My proportions are off. Nose, right portion. The nose is an anchor, I swear. Anchor, I hardly know it. Okay. face. I think I'm gonna start going a little more cartoony just so I can get everything in. These are great for, like, these expressions are nice. If you're ever looking for more cartoony expressions. Do them yourself, you know? Facial hair is still throwing me off. It's got that little quaff. Kind of made him look like Gaston. No one. Boy, as nice as this is, it's hard to see most of his face in the shadow. This would be better for renders, but I'm not doing render drawing right now. So unfortunately, not ideal, because then I do end up doing those harsh shadows, and it does look silly because it's not fully rendered. Also, I didn't give enough space over here. This eye needs to come all the way over here. Draw what we don't see. See the top of that ear, we see the bottom of that ear. Yep, I went too big on the nose. Let's do too many of these. Lines are throwing me off. Too many guiding lines. Oops. Up B. Give me one sec. Hey, welcome in. What's up? Oh, no, that's an old one. Sorry. It was a little wild for sure. Oh, I'm on the brush. Or the eraser, that's why. I was like, what? Alright. Nose is here. Here. There we go. Looking a little better. A little faster too. Maybe I should just always do cartoons. I will say straight on poses are really hard. Something interesting about when I'm drawing a face and I don't get it right, I'm a lot more embarrassed about it than if I were to draw a hand and be bad at it, because I feel like there's some humanity inherently tied to the face. I feel like I'm embarrassing people if I don't get it right. Whereas if it's a hand, the only one who's insulted by it is me. But there's the capacity for potentially these people to find me and find me just ruining their image. And that I feel nobody deserves, you know? So big props to them for putting themselves out there on the internet for all to see. I'm not going to get into the details on the ears. We know what an ear looks like. This guy. He has a very angular face. I keep saying these things and I feel like I'm insulting people, but I'm truly not. Just making observations. He's got a bit of a square jaw, or a triangular jaw. Here, there, if he didn't have a hand there. It's gonna sound weird, but I feel like he's got Ezra Miller's mouth and Adam Driver's nose. Anybody knows who those are? He looks like Woody from Toy Story. And that's not an insult. The drawing that I made, that looks like Woody as a person. Get that shape. Very nice hair. Like, not giving this enough. Is sun come out or something? Good lord. Enough volume. He turned around again. Good. Doesn't help me. It's his neck. Alright. I'm grateful for the brave people that are posing for the drawings. I'm just gonna like this stream and leave because I need to sleep. Good night. Have a good stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Too good at detecting faces. Hey, what's up? Sorry, I completely missed that. I need to pull up my chat. For whatever reason, it doesn't work on OBS. Probably because OBS sucks. Sorry, not OBS. Streamlabs. And hope they do not come after you for your sketches. Hopefully they wouldn't. I would assume that since they've given me their permission to post that stuff, or they've put their face on these sites, that they would recognize that I'm learning. I gotta turn on my fan. 73 and windy. Oh my goodness. A little better. Desperately want to get me kicked off of YouTube. Trying to give me naked people. I feel like they probably just went through their library of figure drawings and zoomed in on all the nude models that were like a clean plate of just the head. Maybe. Something interesting just happened there where I started drawing him with his head turned more, but his head isn't turned, it's his eyes that are turned. There's very distinct smile lines there. Made him look like the detective from Iron Giant. Where's the giant, Mansley? Maybe that's why I keep drawing. The faces that I enjoy are the faces that I can equate to a cartoon character. Because I'm good at cartoons, I can do that. I shouldn't be doing the beard until I've got the actual facial structure down. Uh-oh. I didn't realize that was 10 seconds. Out of face. The head turning away at least gives you a chance to take a break and read the chat. Good call. Reassess. Maybe I start doing 5-minute. 5-minute timer? I feel like that's too much. 3 minutes would be fine. I'm usually just like 1 or 2 features off. Go back to the middle. I think that one was pretty accurate. That one wasn't terrible. That one's pretty good. That one's alright. Didn't finish. Didn't finish. Didn't finish. Didn't finish. Terrible. Bad. Sorry. Not terrible. Alright. Once we've figured out the brush, it certainly helps, but... It's like if you turn away from the like if I get a profile shot, I can do the landscape, I can do the silhouette of the face, and that's fine. But then like for the eye, if both eyes are involved, that's a big time sink. You got to get those even, you got to get the shapes right, and they're individually shaped and they're reversed, and sometimes they're squinting one eye, they're winking, whatever. That's where my time sink is. 3 minutes. Let's put this, drag this over here so I don't showcase all of my source files. So I can't get hacked. I don't think that's how that works, but whatever. Projects. We'll put it in doodles. Practice. Basics. I don't know if there's a 3-minute setting is the problem. Restart that one. Do like a gestalt. Find my way in. this one for the sake of the silhouette. I don't think I struggle with the silhouette just because I don't struggle with it as much. Because there's more landmarks to use, if that makes sense. Like, on the face, it's a floating mass, and so you just kind of have to make everything fit where it goes. But with a silhouette, you very specifically have all of your landmarks laid out on the side of the face. And so it's not super difficult to map it, because all of this is just empty, like, cheek space. Reminds me of a senior portrait, and then I just had the thought I could just go through like my yearbook and draw all the guys from my high school. I don't want to dox anybody. That'd be funny though. Good practice. You want to draw for yourself. You don't have any sources. Yearbook. Ish. Her face a little too triangular. The other thing is hair. Hair has a very specific methodology and texture to it, and that I feel like is a different study entirely, but also a good study to focus on. So if you're doing figure drawing and you know that you struggle with hair, that would be a good like subject matter to specify if you know that that's something that you need to improve on. Something I know I need to improve on, but I'm not really focused on hair today. I don't think. Maybe we'll reassess and I'll just focus on hair after I get a little bit faster at these heads. Do the shape of the head and then shape. Off right now? Logging me? I really do struggle with noses too, I'm noticing. Is there not a custom option? I thought it was there. I might be on a different... I'm on line of action. I think there was a custom setting for how many frames you could do. But I do think there are certain sites that have... I said frames, sorry. How many drawings, images will show up. I'm not going to worry about that side of his face because there's a phone in front of it. I think there was a custom amount of images you could see, but I do believe there are other sites that have custom time settings. So I might change sites here in a sec. See if that works. Back of the head. Alright, since it's the back of the head, I will stop and see if I can find custom setting. Yeah. Oh wait, custom time, you're so right. You're so right. What a fool I've been. I'm looking at it right now, it goes from 30 to 10 minutes and then there's custom. You're so right. What a fool I've been. Just looked at it. Sorry, the only knowledge that I had was that I had only previously glanced at it while I was setting this up, and that is it. Should have trusted you. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh. Okay. So I'll set these as like a 2-minute label. And then I'll start a new session. Just reorganize those later. That's another 100 hand. Eventually I'll get to 1,000. I think that's 900. What was I at? I finished at 787, and I owed you 100 for the last time, and then another 100, so that's 987. So eventually I'll get to 1,000. Alright. Let me take a second. Oh, it's so hot. My camera straight? Yeah. For whatever reason, my tripod keeps like slouching, and so my camera keeps getting thrown up. I'll be observing for a little bit. My dogs need bathroom time. You're good. Take your time. Oh. Okay. Turn on the AC. I can hear the birds calling to me. It is hotter today. It is much hotter than... Was it yesterday? No, Saturday. Saturday was a little chilly. That was the one time I didn't wear my jacket. Okay. Alright, back to it. I already did this one. Sneak. Okay, face plate. I'll follow that line between the nose to the chin. Make a little invisible line there. And this guy, in this dramatic light, that actually does help kind of make the brow plane right here. You can see where his brow is like super dark right on this edge. All of that's shaded in. So that is kind of helpful for the sake of breaking that down. Which does mean I need to fix this. It is more that way. Alright, still got 2 more minutes. Reminds me of Toto from JJK. Just with red hair instead of black. Oh my god, that was 3. Took my time too much. Too much of my time. Gotta get better about the dinging of the bell. For whom the bell dings. Oh, is it halfway and then 10 seconds? Is that it? Maybe that's what it is. Used to die. You know what? That is something I haven't practiced is glasses. Went the extra mile and did a hand. I already did this one. And look, you just have this as background music. Whatever you need. It's the lo-fi artist if you want to go there instead. Hopefully you'd like to stick around and watch me draw stuff too, but totally cool with whatever you want to do. I already did this one, so I'm gonna... I already did this one, so I'm gonna... Post Malone vibes from this guy. I'm looking. I'm also drawing. Okay, good. Good. Better. Everyone. struggle with facial hair. I'm realizing because I can't grow facial hair. So, I don't have any point of reference. I often use myself as my subject. So I need this as practice, for sure. I get everything I wanted to do. Here. Struggle with the lips. They're really important. Fun to do, actually, when you get a good lip, you know? I also have, not to have forehead wrinkles, but I do. Did this one. Drink some water. It's so hot. Get better. Drink your water. Hydrate or dihydrate. Who's buzzing me? All right. interesting. At this angle, the cheek kind of overlaps with the mouth at a certain instance. And the top jaw doesn't move on the scream because her teeth are angled at that. That's like her bottom jaw is the only thing doing the moving. Must have really been belting. Look at that neck vein. I distorted the face a little. Fix that a smidgen. More forehead. Could have been better. Need to figure out, need to standardize my process for faces so that I can keep like a scientific method, you know, where I have a standard pace for making these. They're very variable. But I feel like I should be able to get down like, oh, nose first, then I always do the cross. I always establish my directional orientation. Ooh, that's nice. I don't think I've ever noticed that the eyelids kind of compress as well as the eyebrows. That's important to note. Does help a lot with conveying more emotion, because in theory, if you just compressed everything, you would kind of only deliver the idea of anger. But with those additional little lines, you can kind of convey that this isn't specifically anger, this is more of like a lament. Like he seems sad at the same time as angry, in very generic terms. Could just be a scream that's not specifically angry. Point being, there's nuance to this pose. Not necessarily just anger. screen. Some softness to the nail. That line did a lot of heavy lifting too. Just teeny tiny adjustments here and there can really define this face. Any face. I'm gonna go back over that in a second, but like, that was crazy. Alright, real quick, before I move on. Just this teeny tiny. Could you zoom out? I want to see all the faces. Yeah, one sec. It's crazy how warm today is compared to the weekend. Yeah, it keeps giving me a headache when it goes back and forth. Yeah, so here, real quick, before I zoom out and show all the faces. I just barely added this little line, and that's a smile. And that's not. Smile, not a smile. There are so many subtleties to the human face. There are so many muscles in the human face. You can really do very tiny, insignificant changes that really warp the entire message of the image. It's crazy. Anyway, just thought I'd point that out. Like even just the nose being a little bit more, you can scrunch stuff, there's so much emotion in the face. Shockingly. Okay, I'll zoom out and show the faces. And I've got all the other ones over here. I made them a little smaller as I was just practicing my brush for most of them. And they were for 2 minutes, so I had a lot less time to work with. not my strongest, but I haven't practiced faces in a while. Crazy, wow. Crazy bad, crazy good. Crazy. Oh, you mean the facial thing, yeah. Yeah, that was wild. I also noticed this tiny little, like, this might not be for every face, but I feel like I've been noticing that the bottom lip on a silhouette is less skewed with the face. It recedes back farther, and so the upper lip actually comes, like, this is the upper lip coming all the way around, and then the lower lip kind of cuts off there, and so you get more of a silhouette closer to the face than on the upper lip that kind of juts out a little farther. And that's really funny to see, because whenever I draw my character, I always do that with the lips, where I have the upper lip farther out. I always do my lips. Right? Those are my lips. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to incorporate any of this new stuff that I'm learning into my figures. I like this face. That's a good face. I'm getting better. That means I'm getting better. That's why we study. We get better. Good, good, good. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I will be right back. Stick around. I'm back. Where we at? Where we at? Let me check up the chat. Side tangent, did you decide to draw the nose for your character like that because of Soul Eater? Yes, I did. I need to do reference drawings. Sorry, I'm coming. That's my mark. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and join us for Discord when we share an art. Participate in monthly and weekly challenges. Thank you so much for doing all of that. I appreciate it. I guess we talk art too. We do a lot with art. All art, illustration, animation, music. Yes, we do music. I'm excited for if anybody is a writer and wants to produce some poetry, that would be cool. I have some friends who are writers, and so I think that they would be able to share their stuff there. But I don't know if they want to, so up to them. I'm not going to pressure anybody. It's nerve-wracking to share your art. But yes, I did use that nose. This is the Soul Eater nose. I love Maka's nose. The lips are Soul's. The nose is Maka's. The eyes are from something different, I think. I don't remember where I got the eyes from. The shadows under my eyes, very specifically, are... I worked on an indie project. It didn't really go anywhere, but one of the character designers did some really cool... Had a fun character that I voiced, and I liked the bags under his eyes, because I do have bags under my eyes, so they're fun to emphasize. The hair is a little Cowboy Bebop, a little... I feel like there's another reference for hair. But yeah. I'm a writer too, I just don't have anything to share. I'll consider that for the next challenge. Yeah, go for it. Whatever you're feeling. Truly, all art. Okay. Back to the figures. Back to the game. Okay, I did that one. This one. Did I do this one already? I don't know. Interesting. Her jawline looks like it ends right before the ear, which is interesting. The jaw's supposed to go behind the ear. It should be a shadow. Oh, you know what? I think I might be connecting that hair wisp, that shadow on there. Mind you. Trying to... What's here? It's like this, like a squint. It's not quite... It's not confusion, but it's almost like disgust, you know? You'll never know. That hair really saves me a lot of anatomy. Give her too crooked of a nose. Not crooked, curved. There. See if I couldn't nail that one. I've seen this one so many times. Ooh. Ooh, you know what I'm excited for is a Frieren. Frieren angle. It's just jarring to see the ears so low. Usually I mark the ears with, even with the eyes, really down there. It didn't go anywhere, it's just the angle. Crazy. But This is definitely going to help with my ability to comprehend perspective in the future. Also an unflattering angle, so props to this guy for being confident enough to be in it. I don't think he looks bad. I just know that when I'm photographing, you never photograph from beneath somebody. feel like you're laughing. To figure out how to describe like a restrained laugh. It's hard to convey, as I'm finding out. I'm trying to draw it. Eyebrows help a lot. Straight on is the hardest, I think. And I don't have any excuses. I just gotta get all of it. Did this one already. One, wasn't it? Found it. Ooh. Strip. Stand up and stretch every once in a while. Get the blood flowing. Ah. Drink some water. Okay. I'm gonna pretend that I can see her eyes because I can't. I'm gonna draw her glasses. That one. Already got that one. For the head. Nope. Well, let's see. won't do that one. Back of the head. Oh, I went backwards. That's why. Yeah, we can do that one. Already done this one, but could just be that I've seen the back of this guy from every angle. No, I do remember this one now. Yeah, because I drew the ear. It's okay. It's done anyway. It'll be interesting to see how I've improved since the last time I drew this guy from this angle. Certainly felt faster at the very least. Something that I learned pretty early on is that in order to emphasize wrinkles, show their silhouette. For example, for these forehead wrinkles, if I just had straight lines here and then a straight line here, it doesn't really deliver it well, but since I have these edges, they help with the implied line that connects those forehead wrinkles to the edge. Just a little bit. I already did that one too. Also, anatomy tip, as I'm looking at this, the eyes should be separated enough that you can fit a third eye in between them. If your eyes ever feel close together, they might be. Just measure them out. hard to tell. He's been around. So I noticed that when I didn't draw the center line for the eyes, I was a little off on the proportionality of it. So it's a good note to make for myself that I need to double check that I am always making that. That does help a lot. Also, notice that the nose is a little too small. Oh my god. No, not the back of the head. Good lord. Alright. One sec. Alright. What time is it? 6 p.m. I'm going for 3 hours. Ugh. I don't know if I want to do another hour. I will be leaving shortly if that makes up your mind about anything. It does help that if I know that nobody's going to be watching, then I shouldn't be streaming, you know. Not that I shouldn't be, but I like to be around in case anybody tunes in. But also, it's hot. I think I need to take a break. I do have other projects that I'm actively working on, so maybe I'll cut it short and I can just get those projects done instead of... This is good for studying, but I don't know that I'm in the mindset for studying too much more. This has been very helpful. And I might do more on... That's a good face. More on Wednesday. I'm saying I can't, you know? Yes, I will be posting my study in the Discord soonish. Nice. Yeah, everybody who would love to participate in drawing faces with me, I would love to see what you can come up with. I need encouragement. I need to know that I'm not the only one struggling with this. So if you're really good at it, don't post it. I'm just kidding. Follow it along with yours so I don't have any faces that didn't show up for you. Okay, cool. So then we can compare. We can really compare. I'm not going to do that. Ah, here's a fun one. He's excited. I think next time I'll try and work on like finding the parts that I like and just kind of exaggerating them. It's like here, this would make a great. You know what I should do? I think I'm gonna draw. Because these were good for realism, I think I want to draw my character in whatever pose the other person is in, so I can refine my drawing style for my characters. Because I can't just do realism all the time, right? I need to get better about like, how would I make this person in my style, or how can I make my character in this style? Let's see what happens. But I think that would be fun. That's a little too small, but go back and fix the effect. I drew him to look like Peter B. Parker from Spider-Verse. Hard to be surprised and excited at the same time, but he did it. Too dramatic, I think. Here. Yeah. Now he looks like the Doom guy. Doom guy eyebrows. wisps. Wisps of hair. Also recognizing that you can kind of, for those hard edges on the wrinkles, you can kind of skirt them by, if they do have facial hair, emphasizing the shapes with facial hair rather than with wrinkles. Because I feel like the facial hair reads a little bit better. And it feels more realistic and necessary for those shapes rather than the wrinkles, which are kind of subjective based on how that person's face sits when they are making a certain pose. That only applies if they have facial hair, really. What is hard, that I'm finding right now, is how to convey that somebody is looking up while their bottom lid is removing that bottom part of the iris. Because that's usually how I depict, where the eye is going. So it's hard to emphasize that he's looking at you while the bottom lid is not indicating that. So what I think I need to do is draw the eyes as if they're looking at me and then emphasize those lids. Like get the orientation on the eye right and then the lids. Okay? I think that worked. Didn't make his nose big enough though. Man, I really struggled with that one. Didn't even get his hair in. I already did that one. Okay. Oh, I skipped it. Oh, I skipped it. Let's do... for a very severe injustice in not showing that her hand is pulling her hair back. It doesn't really flow otherwise. Maybe it's just that I drew them poorly. So that looks a lot better. Just pulling them back a little bit. Showing the inside of the mouth. Yeah, that helped a lot. A little messy in there. I think I did a good job at following the prompt, but towards the end, I was doing more stylized choices. Maybe I'm unfortunately not the realism artist type. I feel like I've identified some things I need to work on, but this confirmed that I don't like this kind of style. Yeah. Yeah, realism is rough. I do recommend that you, at the very least, get a fair handle on realism, just so then you can distort from there, because it is harder to distort from no basis. It's harder for you, if you don't study anatomy accurately, to then abstract things in a way that's still aesthetically pleasing and connects with the audience. Because when you see animated stuff where they've, in some instance, pushed some expression or made it a caricature, they did that intentionally based on they're emphasizing an eye to make it more appealing. They're emphasizing the fingers to make them more, first, easy to draw, probably, if it's 2D, and second, aesthetically pleasing in that you can still tell what they're doing with their hands, even if they're not one-to-one realistic. So, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's fine that it's not your style, but I do still recommend studying like this to then know how to abstract. I know you're probably not saying yes. Yes. I don't assume that you were saying that you weren't ever going to do this again, but just like it's frustrating, especially when you consider like this isn't the end goal. These aren't final products, and so it is hard to just be like, I'm just practicing, you know, for people who are like, you're bad at drawing. It's like, I'm bad at drawing this. And I am working to get better at it, but again, that's not the end goal necessarily. It is the repetition, it is the study, it is the form, it is the line, it is the technique, it is the timing. Having a time limit on it is very specifically helpful. Because you make decisions much faster, and then you can refine your process, rather. And then you know what you care about the most, once you know what it is that you focus on the most. pulled the face back far enough. It's more of an upward angle that I didn't capture with the lead line. So that one. All right, what's the time? It's 6:05. All right. I think I'm gonna wrap up there. I'm getting hot. I need to take a break. Just chill. I'm gonna do one more. I want to do one that I'm happy with the ending. That last one I was defeated, and I can't end on a defeat. You gotta end on a win, right? Let's find a pose that I feel comfortable with. Let's do this one. Let's see what I can do. And then I might even do the thing that I said that I was going to do next week, or next stream, with the drawing my character. Maybe I'll do that real quick, to see how that would go. These profile sketches. I am straight on police sketch artists, really. We'll get there. Not being a cop. We'll get there with the sketching. Okay. Now I feel a lot better on. Okay, let's go back. Pause there. Okay. Now I want to see if I can do my character in this pose fairly quickly. Gotta win. What if you ended on the head, on the turned away head? No, that's too easy. Okay, now let's do my guy. This angle. Yeah, I'm much better at drawing myself than somebody else, shockingly. Yeah, I think that would be a fun exercise to do next week. Or next stream. I said next week again. That's pretty mean. Thank you. Really funny that I was able to, if I put it in the context of my character, I got the mouth a lot better on mine. And I don't know why. It's just something about breaking it down into cartoony shapes just sold it a lot better in my brain. Because she's got like that. Yeah, there it is. That's the one. I got the mouth down when I turned it into a cartoon. That's so fucking funny. Well, that's fun that I've kind of compiled a style that allows it lends itself well to being as close to realism and also pretty easy to shorthand. Yeah. Maybe I'll find this back. Very funny. This. Yeah. That's the one. Alright. Cool. Next stream, grab your favorites, redraw as characters. Yeah, I'll just go back through. I mean, I'll probably just start up a new session of this. Maybe I challenge myself to do... I might increase intervals and do 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute in that order to then kind of ramp into more realism adjacent cartoony stuff. Honestly, that's a good way for my brain to break it down, is because I get so focused on the face that my idea is like, I have to refine this, I have to make it perfect to realism. But if I'm using my cartoon style, then I really do just focus on, I do nose, I do mouth, I do ears, I do eyes, and then maybe hair if I have time. But like, I just get down to it, whereas with realism, I always do wrinkles, I do face, like the smile lines, and I try and get the padding of the cheeks and the jaw. It's too much. So I think that's going to be really helpful for me. So I'll do that on Wednesday. I'm glad you were here to help me figure that out, because that's exactly what I needed. And I might need you to be here to remind me to do that, but I'll try it. Anyway, thank you for being here this time. I appreciate it. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you made something that you're proud of. If not, we'll work on it again. Yeah. Have a good day. I'm gonna peace out.